Okay, this is a video for my top 4 budget earphones between the price of $50 and $100 roughly. I haven't done one in a long time. I gotta do this. It's the time. Why not 5? Well, because I want to leave one open for you to mention a set that I didn't mention and you think definitely deserves to be on the list. It's been out in the wild. There's no quality control issues. There's no ridiculously poor frequency response graph. And for some reason, I didn't mention it. I want you to mention it below. If somebody else mentioned it, don't thumb it up. Mention it again so that someone who comes in here gets the reinforced belief that that set that you're mentioning, that they can go check out, that's been maybe reviewed by others or it's been graphed and it's been talked about. They can go like, what are all these people mentioning this set for? And then they go look and they find it and they buy it. So that's one spot is open for you. What are we looking at? We'll take a look at this at the end of the video. I didn't know. Well, I'll get into that. 2021 it's an interesting year. Please wait for just a second. 2019 to 2020 was during the corona, it kind of exploded the whole time. But prior to that, a lot of earphones were developed in China and they were released into the market just around the time that was beginning. And people that do Chifi reviews were like myself. There was so much stuff you had to really take a look at stuff, which was the one that might make it, and do videos for that. Because if you can't do videos for everything you receive. And some stuff, you listen to it and it sounds odd, you graph it and it looks ridiculous, and you know it's not going to get traction. Let somebody else take care of that. I got a job to do, I got a girlfriend, I got a life, I can focus on the good stuff and sometimes more than that, but 2020 was bonkers. There was tons of great stuff. 2021 has started out very differently. Let me go ahead and get to my list real quick. I think the TriPwin TC01, I have the silver one. Other people got the purple one. This is a very well-tuned single dynamic driver. It fits good. It's a flush 2-pin. All your extra nice cables that you bought will work with this if it's a .078, which is the most common type. It's got a pleasing sound. It generally will work with most genres. It's a good set made by a company that is known for making cables. When I first did the first video on YouTube for this set, I thought this is going to be not good, and I was surprised. Very good set, and I still recommend it. So this is it's Rec 1. This is not number 1. Next is the Belon 03. The purples will go with that. It doesn't fit the human ear that great, and yet tens and tens of thousands of people have bought this. It's the most made, produced, and sold IEM in probably history, because Chifi makes tons of stuff, probably more than any other country makes the units. And so units produced, this is number 1. Units sold, it's also number 1. It's a staggering number. Despite the fact that it's got a ghetto cable, despite the fact that it seems to not fit the human ear, I actually think the 03 fits better than the 01 over time. I think that the banana gets on my nerves and pushes on a certain part of my ear. After long listening sessions in the 03 with the Phi-L hibiscus cable, I can sleep with it with foam tips. So there's no reason to take this off the list. Number 3 would be, it's not ranked number 3, just the third item, TFZ Live 3. Very careful with TFZ, has so many things out there. TFZ 3, TFZ number 3, TFZ Live 1, TFZ Live 3. It's got a nice subtle elevated bass, it's got a subtle gain, it's got energy past 8K. It's a very good set. It kind of flies under the radar because TFC releases so much stuff they might damage their own image by doing so, but this is a legit good set, enough for me to still, it's 69 bucks. I wreck it. And the last one, my 4th one, will be the CCA-CA16. Another set like the TriPwin that exceeded expectations completely. I thought that the CCA was a sub-brand of KZ, and KZ is looked at by some people as a B-level brand. This would be a C-level release. No. The CCA CA16 is a really good set. It fits really, really good. I love this set. I'm a huge fan of it. I don't really like those extending 2-pin QDC type, but I got cables for it anyway. TriPwin, actually. And this set is fantastic. So I'll go in order of my preference. The Belon 03, the TC01, the TFC, the CCA-CA16. Be careful with that too. There's a CCA-C16 or something very close. This one. And fourth would be the TFZ Live 3. Those would be the 4 that I'd recommend. And now you say, well, he didn't mention this, so please go ahead and mention it down below. That would be great for the community. In a year that people are going to struggle probably more than any time in their working life. You get to the point where you start to, pay mortgages, car payments, and do stuff like that. And you have budgets and children and stuff. And the people that are into Chifi are hobbyists, and some people are trying to save money. I think the amount of people that are going to be in Chifi in 2021 that are genuinely trying to save money is going to be a bigger piece of the pie than has ever been prior, because people are looking to save money. Help them out. Drop your recommendation below this video, please. Thank you very much. The last thing we'll get to is what I found out today. I've been hearing about it in little bits and pieces, but today, this is the first retweet I've ever done with my Twitter. Everything else is mine. This is interesting because this EST112 is a 1 dynamic, 1 BA, 2 ESTs. And this is going to be a 1 DD like that, 2 BAs, unlike that, and 2 ESTs. So it's going to be a 122 or a 211. I want to talk about this graph real quick because if you are familiar with the ThieAudio Monarch and Clairvoyance, you know that there's 2 different camps. There's some people that like one and there's some people like the other. The Clairvoyance has turned out by units moved to be the more popular of the 2 because it's probably a more general appealing tuning. It's more like a soft V, and that's, for me, I liked it better because it plays bass guitar and kick drums. Literally, this difference right here is whether or not you get a sense of realism to that. And the Monarch has been, Critical put it in his top tier. He liked it a lot. And there's a whole group of people that agree with him. They might not use an adapter. They might use an adapter. They don't care. It's got technical chops. It's very good, and it plays their library very well, and they prefer it over the Clair, and they won't be told anything else. They love their Monarchs, and good for them. I'm a clairvoyance person. I can understand the 2 groups having their preferences because they do play back in a different manner. They're not so similar. They're actually unique to each other. And this 2 Excalibur Oracle looks like they're doing the same thing with a more affordable tier and going after the same separate groups because they are separate, and their revenue and their sales metrics bear that out. There is a group that wants this yellow tighter bass that is flattened before 200 and then it has a subtle gain. They know that because their stats and their data dig and their financials bear that out. A lot of people bought the Monarch and they're very happy with it and they speak highly of it. And then there's another group that's actually slightly larger, partly because of price, partly because of tuning, that likes a little bit more mid-bass because it gives completion to bass guitars and kick drums and stuff that I was, OCD specific about. Like, please check this and listen to these 2 items. And one is a little bit, performs better in those genres than the other. And people did that and decided, I still like this one or I still like that one. They're going after both groups with these 2. These are both going to be single dynamic, 2 balanced armature, and 2 ESTs. But they're going to offer them in 2 different configurations. Instead of putting a switch, because switches, I don't think these have switches because I wouldn't see the point of releasing 2. It scratches people's ear. It's most people that get those things set at once and never really change it. So the whole benefit of having multiple profiles, I don't see a lot of people saying, I listen to this profile, sometimes I listen to, most people set it and forget it. So I'm glad that they did this. Instead of doing dip switches, just release one that's aimed at one group and one that's aimed at another group. And reap the rewards. So this will be coming to the channel soon. I'll let you know as soon as I get it. I'll do a comparison. If I recall correctly, the graph that they released for the Monarch and the Clairvoyance was pretty close to what actually came out, which is becoming more common, but at that time it was unusual, and I saw the graphs and thought, those sure look beautiful, but I didn't put any mind to it. And then they came, and that was pretty close. And it looks like they're intentionally going with that model again. And I'm a big believer that if something's not broken, don't try and fix it. Don't try to be clever and then shoot yourself in the foot. You got something that works, you're going to port it down to a more affordable group, by taking out a couple drivers and offering it a more affordable price and giving people the option to go with something that's more like the Monarch, but more affordable. Not quite the Monarch's level, but it's more affordable. That's the whole point. And then the Claire group that maybe wanted to get the Claire, but that's a little expensive, they will have an option as well, which would probably be the Oracle. So genius. And it'll be coming up. And that is it. I was going to release a video about the topping mini stack that I did yesterday, but I figured I would do this today instead. So that's it for today. That's my top 4, plus yours, which is in the comment section, which will be the 5th one. I didn't mention the Moondrop set because it's coming by slow mail. Again, the 4PX or whatever that's called. So when that comes in, I'll update this list if that's really good. And if it sounds like the KXXS, which I wrecked strongly, it's probably going to go on the list. But I don't have it yet, so I can't comment on stuff I haven't heard yet. And that's it. I'm out. Yay.
Standing on the corner selling cocaine, the ripping shows live on stage with hoes yelling my name. To be precise, ripping mics is the light of my life. You frontin' like you trifle, never pulled the heist.